speaker is Parviz Dastmalchi, holds a master's from political science from Berlin University, who has published more than 19 books. He will speak about the terrorist operations in Mykonos. Thanks to the Südwind Foundation for inviting me, with the permission of the chair and those present. Dear present people, the name of the first victim, we all know the name of the first victim of terrorism abroad, Shahryar Shafi, but we don't know the name of the last. Shahryar Shafiq used to be a Navy officer who was in December 1979 in Paris. As he was leaving his sister's house, he was killed with 2 bullets in the head. Years later, Sheikh Sadegh Khalkhali, who was the judge appointed by Ayatollah Khomeini at the time, in his memoirs in the Islam newspaper, he wrote that Shahryar Shafiq had been condemned by the revolutionary courts on the charges of corruption on earth. He had been found guilty in absentia, and he had been condemned to execution. Hujjat al-Islam Sayyid Sadegh Khalkhali, speaking on the way of a struggle that Islamic Republic adopts to fight against dissidents, says, in order to a lot of my friends were asking that how can we put down the dissidents. One evening I was coming from Ayatollah Khomeini. We came to the alley in our house, and from the window of the house I could see that there was a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old who were exchanging something with one another. I ordered them for them to be arrested so they could be searched. I found the a newspaper from Mujahideen in the week. I shot the guy right then and there, and I said, this is how you get it. My friends, there's a reason I bring this example, because I am sorry to say that this type of behavior, this arbitrary behavior to the dissident's life and property, has continued today. Ladies and gentlemen, what I want is to use this opportunity to share with you my experience as a witness of an assassination that could have not been here. Some of you might know that I am a survivor of the assassination known as Mykonos on 17th December 1979. Back then, and now too, after every murder, after every assassination, whether inside or outside Iran, the question that is always raised rightly is that those who order assassinations, those who order the murders of dissidents, who are they? Because almost in all cases, it is the murderers. Murderers basically didn't know who the victims were. So they were just there on a mission. Some said that there are some elements inside the regime who does it, or a faction of the regime who does it. And the security authorities of Iran spread the rumors that the opposition had divisions inside it. But it was in the Berlin court, known as the Mykonos court, that worked on the case of the assassination of Sadegh Charafkandi and 3 other members of the Iranian opposition living in Berlin. It was proven in this court case that those who ordered these executions were some of the highest religious, political, and security and military officials, police officials of the Islamic Republic of Iran. After the Berlin assassination case, 5 citizens one Iranian and 4 Lebanese members of Hezbollah were arrested, and some of them were able to run away. 3 of them were Iranian, 2 were Lebanese members of Hezbollah. One of those who ran away was Abdul Rahman Bani Hashemi, who used a rifle on those who were there. And among those who were arrested is Kazem Darabi Kazaruni, that based on documents, based on undeniable evidence, worked for the intelligence ministry and was a member of the Revolutionary Guards. He got a life sentence, and after 12 years he was released from prison. He went back to Iran. When he went back at the airport, he was welcomed by high officials of the Islamic Republic. Specifically, it was the foreign ministry officials who welcomed him in the airport. The court for Berlin victims took 4 years, and during the court, a question always remained: on whose orders did the murderers act? Who were those who ordered the executions? What follows is a small part of the confessions of Abu Qasim Misbahi, one of the founders of the intelligence ministry of the Islamic Republic and a follower of Ayatollah Khomeini, who after the Islam Revolution had become the head of the Jamshiriya. He had 3 normal passports, which is normal, diplomatic, and service, and he had a Wawak service card. 1132 was the number of his card in Wawak. Misbahi has spoken in the court about those who ordered the assassinations and the structure of decision making. This is what he said: during Ayatollah Khomeini's time, decisions to murder dissidents inside or outside Iran, without an exception, had to be approved by Khomeini. After Khomeini's death, and after Ali Khamenei became the supreme leader, it was under his supervision that a council named Council for Special Affairs. It is an illegal affair. It's an extra governmental affair body above all governmental institutions. It is tasked at taking decisions on all important matters, including to assassinate dissidents or whatever that needed a Sharia fatwa. All governmental bodies, from Majlis to the government, had to carry out what this council decided. When the Council for Special Affairs decided on a murder, this decision, without an exception, it had to be approved by the Supreme Leader. And without the Supreme Leader's decision, no one could act. Based on the confessions of Misbahi, the permanent members of the Council of Special Affairs that was making decisions were the religious head of the regime, Ali Khamenei, the then president, Hashemi Rafsanjani, the then intelligence minister, Ali Fallahian, the then foreign minister, Ali Akbar Velayati, the first Wawak minister, Ali Ray Shahri, which at the time he ran the intelligence operations of the supreme leader, and he was close to him, and he continues to be. He does intelligence work for the supreme leader, together with the then commander of the Revolutionary Guards, Mohsen Rezai, and the then head of the police, Brigadier General And then Ayatollah Khazali, who was a member of the Guardian Council, and he was tasked with religious affairs. Additionally, the 400-page verdict of the Berlin court, which was issued in April 1997, condemns the highest, the most senior positions in the Islamic Republic as those who ordered the Berlin assassinations and other assassinations outside Iran. In this verdict, we read, the murder of Dr. Qasemlu and two of his comrades in June in Vienna, and also the murder that is being conducted in this court, are results and consequences of the policies of the Islamic Republic of Iran. The relationship between the Vienna and Berlin assassinations are very clear and obvious. The documents, undeniable evidence given to this court, shows the shape and the structure of decision making at the top of the Iranian regime, and also the structure of this decision makings, which is aimed at destroying the opposition to the regime outside Iran. Everything is made clear. Taking a decision to destroy the dissidents and opponents of the regime is done by what is called the Council for Special Affairs, which is an illegal body, has been formed by the religious head of the regime. The members of this council consist of the president, the intelligence minister, the foreign minister, the heads of the armed forces and police, and also the religious head of the regime. The reason and motive for the Berlin assassination was merely political and aimed at keeping the political power. The only motive for the assassination was political and aimed at destroying the opponents of the regime. The main goal of the regime was to destroy the active opponents of the regime abroad. This is the end of the quote. Friends, the shocking testimonies given by someone from inside the regime in front of a prosecutor's court and in the court itself, together with the obviously clear verdict by the Berlin court of condemning the highest authorities of the Islamic Republic as the orderers of the assassinations, together with proved implication of at least 16 bodies of the Islamic Republic in taking part in assassinations abroad, from the broadcasting to the foreign ministry, to intelligence ministry, to telegraph and post ministry, together with the measures taken by the governments about those who commit assassinations, like doing official delegations to welcome assassins going back to Iran, from Anis Naqash to Ali Vakili-Rad, those who killed Bakhtiyar, to David Salahuddin or Bifold, of those who called Ali Tabatabai, and then Kazem Darabi that I spoke about. And also this reality that after the Berlin verdict came out, the Iranian government, in order to restart relations with the European Union, promised them that it would never commit terrorist actions in the European soil anymore, and from then on the European Union soil, opponents have not been killed. And also testimonies of those who were arrested in Iran about the chain murders and the direct role of Ayatollah Qurban Ali Dori Najafabadi as the then Security and Intelligence Minister, who is now a member of this Guardian Council, This all point that the testimonies were correct, i.e. the decision to assassinate the dissidents in and outside Iran had been taken by the highest authorities of the regime. The sovereignty of man over his own fate and social peace will not happen without law and obligations to human rights. When the source of the law is above human and the human rights are abused, a human from a creature of unassailable dignity is turned into nothing but a tool for the governments, because without rights prior to governments, humans will become a subject that you can do whatever you want to. Without the right of sovereignty for people, without obligations to human rights, without sanctity of the life and dignity of human beings as the most important of values, social peace and peaceful life for humans together and next to each other would be impossible, because human rights guarantees legal justice, which means equality before law, because discrimination and injustice is discrimination and injustice, whether its source is in the heavens or on the ground, whether these things are based on traditions or habits. Human rights is the foundation of modern democracies. It is there when the majority can rule, but at the same time the rights of all minorities, including their life and property, would be protected. Thank you for your attention.